Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Aric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
My name's Lexi and I've always been the most responsible.
My name's Carter and I like picking on my siblings.
My name's Chase and I love a clean truck.
My name's Summer and I still like to spend my parents' money.
My name's Dane and I love baseball.
And around here, we talk about the real stuff. Parenting, marriage, faith.
Along with grief, growth, second chances, and blended family life.
And all the in-between moments that don't make it to Instagram.
Our podcast is for the couples figuring it out, the parents trying their best, and the ones holding faith and heartbreak in the same hand.
Look, we don't have it all together.
Not even close.
But we do have honesty.
And a whole lot of grace.
This is Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess.
Let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by Sevens Boutique, an online shop created by 2 sisters, Angie and Jess, who believe you should walk boldly, dress divinely, and know your significance. At Sevens, you'll find easygoing pieces that are cozy, classy, and made to mix and match. Think relaxed pants, cozy sweaters, and lifestyle sets you'll want to live in. Every item is handpicked with purpose, so you can shop confidently, dress comfortably, and walk boldly. Inventory is small and curated, so if you see something you love, don't wait. Visit sevensboutique.com and use the code PODCAST10 for 10% off your first order. www.sevensboutique.com. Walk boldly, dress divinely, know your significance.
Welcome to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess, where just want to acknowledge it is Mother's Day weekend. And we say that because I know Mother's Day is not always happy for all moms. If you've gone through child loss, it can be a very painful time. So just acknowledge that. Thank you for being here. This weekend, we're doing something different and that we're actually working an event together.
First time.
We're both speaking. For me, I'm just emceeing the event. So riding a bike. I emceed so many events. But this one I've never done before. I'm super excited about it. It's the True North Little Black Dress event. And True North is an organization here in mid-Missouri for domestic abuse. And it helps women to get back on their feet if they've been in a relationship, try to help them get out of relationships at times, all kinds of different things. So I'm going to MC that event. And then Angie is one of the keynote speakers tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think in life, we talk about this all the time, like trusting the process, God's timing. They actually talked about having me speak a year or 2 ago.
Mm-hmm. Might have been 2. Yeah, I don't know.
Year maybe. And then they kind of got wires crossed and someone else had been asked. And so it's one of those things where you just have to like trust the process that it wasn't your time. And I feel very confident in that because this year when they reached back out, I felt very prepared to speak. So I said, you know, I've got quite a few topics I can talk about for sure. But obviously they want me to talk about relationship red flags. And so, I mean, I think it's easy to talk about something that you're passionate about, something that you've experienced. I think it's hard to speak about it. Does that make sense? Like,
sure.
I say all the time, I'm a conversationalist. Like, let's sit down, let's get our comfies on and talk in the living room. And I can do that all day long. To then speak about it in front of
700 to 800 people.
Yeah.
Really. 700 to 800 women.
I am.
Biggest one you've ever done?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
She's going to crush it. She's going to be amazing. She's nervous. She's getting nervous. You're going to be great.
I am getting nervous. I don't want to be shaky. I want to just take a deep breath and just be able to say what I want to say. Obviously, I have it written down. Like, I can't just get up there and speak freely. Like, I have to have it in front of me to make sure I get the points across that I want to get across.
You're going to do really good. She's going to be great. I'm going to work up a cue in the crowd that when she gets nervous, she can look at me. I'll give her the sign and she'll be able to breathe.
Like, that's really going to help.
You will. It will. It will. People think that all the time. I try to tell Dane that all the time when he's pitching. If you're getting distressed and nervous, look at me. I've got a signal that I'll give you that'll help you breathe. And
I don't want to
okay.
look at anybody. I
will tell you, you do have to look at people to get them to engage you. So you will have, but I do recommend this. Only pick like a few people in the crowd. Don't try to find everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just pick out a couple in different places so that it looks like you're looking at different parts of the room. And with that.
So What I told Aric, I'm like, how about for the podcast episode this week, we do a dry run of the event that's tomorrow night. But when you guys are going to be listening to this, it would have already happened. It's Sunday morning, and let's just hope that it all went well. I have a slideshow I've put together too to really hit home the story. Okay, so
I get to introduce Angie, which I like. I think that's really cool. So I'll MC the event, but then when it's her turn to speak, I did ask the director, like, do you want me to do it? I was like, actually, honestly, if I could, I would like to introduce my wife. Did you cheat and look at the script this week?
no, do I have the script?
Yeah, she sent us all the script earlier in the week.
Oh, I saw the highlight, not what you would say.
Oh, do you want me to save that for tomorrow? Do you want to be surprised?
No, I want you can do it now.
She's not good. She doesn't do surprise. I should have just left it. It would have surprised her. Gosh, now it's not going to mean as much. So I'll be on stage and we'll get to this point.
Critique it.
She's not good. I'm not changing it. It's already been put in. This is also why I didn't share it with her so that she couldn't critique it. Anyway, so I've had the privilege of emceeing events for over 25 years now. A lot less gray hair back when I started. But I've got the opportunity to introduce professional and collegiate athletes, country music stars, and nationally recognized speakers. But tonight, it feels different. Tonight is without a doubt the greatest honor that I've ever had as an MC. Our first speaker is as real as raw as they come. She knows firsthand how tough life can be, and yet through it all, she keeps showing up every single day. She leads a sales team with excellence. She shows up for her kids, both the biological and bonus. She helps care for her parents. She lifts up every single person around her, constantly challenging them to become the best version of themselves, including her husband. I've had a front row seat to watch her walk through the fire. And somehow she does it all with grit and grace. She's a director of sales at Worldwide Technology in St. Louis. She's one half of the podcast Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess, co-owner of Sevens Boutique and the author of 2 children's books, Feathers Matter and Are You With Me? But more than any of those accomplishments, she is my favorite person. Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome my wife, Angie Phillips.
Aw, that's good. Make me teary-eyed.
That was the plan. I should have saved it for tomorrow. Man.
I probably wouldn't hear it anyway because I would be so nervous about getting up on stage.
That's true.
All right.
You're going to do great.
Okay. I am honored, truly honored to be in a room full of incredible women. And there's men here too. We see you. But let's be honest, there's something powerful about women coming together. There is power in women lifting each other up. There is power in women speaking truth into each other. And there's power in women who refuse to let another woman walk through life alone. I am a conversationalist. I am not a speaker. That is definitely more my husband's lane. But I am someone who charges into storms. I've always said, I'm a buffalo. When a storm comes, I don't run from it. I run straight through it. And that is what brings me in front of you tonight. My oldest daughter, Hallie, she came home from school one day and said, Mom, do you know how I describe you to my friends? Now, if you're a mom of teenagers, you know this question can be super scary. But she said, Mom, I describe you as a mama bird, teaching your baby birds to fly. And when we're unsure, you give us that nudge that we need. And that moment started something between her and I, the mama bird and the baby bird. I was the one building the nest, and she was the one always meant to fly. When she was 18, she wanted to get a tattoo. Now, I have very strong-willed kids. I don't know who they get that from. So I knew that she was going to do it anyway. And I had a choice. I could really resist it with her, or I could step into it with her. So I went with her, and I got a small bird tattoo on my wrist to symbolize her taking flight. She was headed to Mizzou, stepping into her life. I've always encouraged my kids to spread their wings because life, it's meant to be lived. It's meant to be explored. It's meant to be experienced. So we took all the trips. We stood at the Grand Canyon. We went to the horse races. We sat on beaches in Hawaii. We parasailed in Florida. We went to Vegas for the National Finals Rodeo. And I took all the pictures. So many pictures. Because I wanted to capture every moment, every memory, every piece of her becoming who she was meant to be. I wanted to give my kids a gift of experiences. So when they made decisions in life, they made them from a place of perspective from a place of knowing there is more out there. But here's the hard truth. Not everyone sees life that way. Some people don't want you to fly. Some people want control, not connection. Some people will project their insecurities onto you and shrink your world so that they feel bigger inside of it. In high school, Hallie started dating a boy. And as a mom, you just know sometimes. There's this gut instinct. Something didn't sit right with me. But I also knew they have to learn. They have to have experiences. They have to figure out what they want and what they don't want. But that feeling in my gut, it never left. And when she went to Mizzou, I thought, this is it. New environment, new people, new life. But it was during COVID. And instead of expanding her world, it isolated her in it. The red flags continued. I voiced concern. Her friends voiced concern. But strong, independent, big-feeling girls, they don't back down easily. They lean in. They want to prove that they're right. And in doing that, when I would share concerns, she would pull away. So I had a decision to make. I didn't want to lose my relationship with my daughter over the relationship she was in. Her sophomore year, more red flags. Junior year, she moved in with him. 45 minutes away from everything that mattered to her. Her school, her job, her horse, her life. And I remember asking her, why are you making your life harder? And the answer was never common sense. It was always about control. 3 months later, our lives changed forever. We got a call. The kind of call that no parent should ever receive. That Hallie was being life flighted to the University of Missouri. And in that moment, everything inside of me shattered. We stood there watching the helicopter land, praying for a miracle, begging God for a different outcome. And then the doctors came in and they said a bullet hit her C1 vertebrae and her brainstem, that her brain and her body were no longer talking. Machines were keeping her alive, and that there was nothing that they could do. And then we learned the truth, that he shot her. He pulled the trigger from 5 feet away. And his words were, I didn't know it was loaded. It was never about protection. It was always about possession. And I just want to pause right there because sometimes we hear stories like this and we think, well, it will never happen to me. That would never happen to my daughter. Because listen, I thought the same thing. I thought in my mind that she would get married and later I would be helping her through a divorce. That was the worst case scenario in my mind. But it does happen. If just one gun safety rule was followed, just one, Hallie would still be here. And I would be remiss if I didn't walk through the 5 gun safety rules now as a reminder for everyone. Number 1, he didn't keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. Careless. He didn't have the safety on. Reckless. He didn't keep his finger off the trigger. Thoughtless. He didn't assume the gun was loaded. Deadly. He didn't even consider that his target was a human 5 feet away. Horrific. And this is the consequence. For 2 days, this was our reality. I laid in that hospital bed with my daughter, my lifeless daughter, the same girl who I witnessed take her very first breath. And I held on to her so tight as she took her last breath. There are no words for that kind of pain. There are no words for that kind of loss. But I remember thinking, this is not it. This cannot be the end of her story. Hallie matters. Her life matters. And the way she left this world has to matter to someone. So I started speaking. I wrote a children's book about a baby bird learning to fly. And along the way, she starts missing feathers. But she realizes those missing feathers are what allow her to help others. It's called Feathers Matter. And I started showing up online, talking to young girls about something we don't talk enough about. It's not just abusive relationships, but narcissistic, controlling, subtle ones. Those are the ones that don't leave bruises. They leave confusion. They leave isolation. They leave you questioning your worth. So I want to walk you through the 10 red flags that I saw in their relationship, because even if one woman in this room sees herself in this or thinks of someone she loves, then it matters. Number 1, silence where there should be safety. If you feel like you can't talk about your relationship with the people who love you most, that's not privacy. That's a warning. Healthy love doesn't need to be hidden. Number 2, distance disguised as love. If someone is slowly pulling you away from your family, your people, your foundation, that's not connection. That's control. The right person will move you toward your world, not isolate you from it. Number 3, shrinking yourself to keep someone else comfortable. If you're changing how you dress, how you look, what you enjoy, just to avoid conflict or gain approval, you're not being loved for who you are. You're being molded into who they want you to be. Number 4, feeling like your passions are a burden. The things that light you up should never feel like too much for the person that you love. If they dismiss it, ignore it, or tolerate it instead of celebrate it, they are slowly dimming your light. Number 5, emotional emptiness. If you're expressing your feelings and they're met with silence, dismissal, or indifference, that's not a communication issue. That's emotional neglect. And over time, it will make you feel invisible. Number 6, no accountability, only excuses. If they can't take responsibility for their actions, or in our scenario, blame the gun, if their apologies feel incomplete or surface level, if you're feeling like you're constantly minimized and their behavior never actually changes, that's a pattern. That's not growth. That's a pattern. And patterns like that don't fix themselves. They just get stronger over time. Number 7, you are always the one adjusting. If their needs always come first, their schedule, their feelings, their priorities, and yours come second or not at all, that's not love. That's an imbalance. Number 8, subtle words that slowly tear you down. Not all harm is loud. Sometimes it's quiet comments disguised as jokes that chip away your confidence. And over time, you start believing them. Number 9, the people who love you see it clearly. When your friends or your family, the people who know you best, are all saying the same thing, pause, listen to them, because love should not make everyone around you concerned. And number 10, you feel the need to convince others that they're good for you. If you're constantly defending them, explaining them, or justifying their behavior, deep down you already know. Healthy love speaks for itself, and it doesn't need a PR campaign. And here's the deal. You don't need all 10 of these. Sometimes it only takes one to tell you everything that you need to know about the relationship that you're in. But here's what I want you to hear, like really hear. Never put your worth in the hands of another human being, because we're all flawed. No one gets to define your value. And here's another takeaway. Who you surround yourself with matters more than you think, because sometimes it's not just about happiness. Sometimes it's about your safety. It's about your life. And I've said this before, and I will say it again over and over. Love is not enough. Love does not fix control. Love does not fix manipulation. Love does not fix someone who refuses to grow. And lastly, I can attest that strength is built in storms, not when life's easy, but when everything falls apart and you decide to keep going anyway, because God does not waste pain. And while I would give anything to have Hallie back, I refuse to let her story end in silence. So if her life and her loss can open up one set of eyes, then her wings are still moving. Thank you.
It's really good.
Now, if I could just say it like that.
You're going to say it great. It's going to be powerful and strong. And you're going to help somebody, maybe more than one body.
I hope so, because I can't stand seeing people in unhealthy relationships. I can't.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with our listeners. And we'll let you know next week how it went. But I'm going to tell you right now that it's going to go great. We thank each and every one of you for listening. We hope that you'll share this with someone who might need to hear about the red flags. And again, know that we're thinking about each and every one of you on this Mother's Day, whether it's a good day for you or a hard day. Hope you have a wonderful week and weekend, and God bless.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. Lexi and Hal, take it away.
I'm Lexi.
And I'm Hallie.
Have a great week.
Or have the week that you deserve.
That was perfect.
Yeah, God bless.